But let's get into some nerdy news.
Yes, another week of news.
We got some fun bits this week,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the normal just very serious news we cover here. Fantastic Four trailer managed 202 million views inside 24 hours, making it one of Marvel's most ever viewed trailers.
Shocked.
Pikachu
Not.
shocked face.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's insane numbers. Also, kind of hoped for because it's the Fantastic Four. Like, Marvel will have been expecting this to be their biggest ever. Like, they kind of need it to be.
As we discussed last week, there was lots of good stuff to enjoy from that trailer. It had us very excited, but it's done numbers. I'm seeing a lot of positivity around it. People are excited for it. July cannot come soon enough.
This is true.
We were talking like 2 weeks ago about how we need DC to get back into single player games. So Bloomberg have a report about the gaming situation over at DC, and it is as follows. They've reported that Rocksteady wants to make a new single player Batman game. Of course, they made the Arkham trilogy.
Yep.
But any game they make is still going to be years and years away because it's not. If it is in active development, it's not officially in active development. They've just made it clear they want another one. So even if it was announced between that report and today, we're probably not seeing it till like 2029 at the earliest.
We've also got to consider that James Gunn has said he wants games included in his DCU, so it's like it potentially will need to tie into that.
Yeah, which might make the story take a little bit longer because it might be, say, a prequel to the Batman we get. This pissed me off to no end. Apparently there was a Flash game in development at Warner Brothers Montreal, but was scrapped in response to poor movie reception. I am never going to forgive Andy Muschietti and Ezra Miller for what they've done to my boy.
Hey,
What do you mean there was a Flash game being made and that film fucking ruined it?
I honestly, with the theme of superhero games that we were getting during that time, this might have been a blessing in disguise.
Me decide that, Let me give them my money and be angry about spending the money, not sat here reminiscing about what I didn't even get.
Here's my thought process though. It's like they might have unknowingly saved us from a bad Flash game that James Gunn down the line allows us to have a good Flash game.
I know, but how far away is that going to be, Hori? There's not even officially one in the works.
Hey, we'll still play it. We'll be on like season 6 of Marvel Rivals.
It's just sad. And on top of all that, the Wonder Woman game that was announced what feels like a billion years ago now, has been rebooted during development at least once.
God.
It's already cost over $100 million, and it is still years away from release, and this part's a direct quote, if it even makes it to market. That is not what you want to hear about a game that's cost $100 million already. When was the Wonder Woman game announced? Let me get an actual date here. When was
Here's my thing as well with like these costs. They never really explain what these costs are.
Do you have any rough idea when the game was announced? Just as a guesstimate.
I don't even remember it being announced, I'll be honest.
It was announced at the 2021 Game Awards. So
right
we are
post-COVID.
3.5 years into development. It's been rebooted once. It's cost them $100 million, apparently. Again, like you said, it's difficult to know what that actually means. And it's still years away from development if it even makes it to market. The bit that concerns me about that is actually if it even makes it to market. Because that means they're not 100% sold on what they're even making.
Here's my thing. That cost, like, are they making their own engine for the game? If that's the case, like, that engine can be reused for any game they want to make. Like, the rebooting it doesn't surprise me considering the whole DC situation with then switching to the DCU. Like, it got mixed up in all that. They probably were going to try and tie it into the films, and then, like with
I
the
feel
Flash
like
game, it all blew up.
superhero games, I feel like their stories always will get fucked with during development. We probably just don't hear about it.
Yeah, it.
But
Hey,
I think the big concern is definitely if it even makes it to market, because that does make it seem like there is an internal not even knowing if it's worth releasing.
yeah, it depends if what they're trying. Like, if the story was tied into the films and they're about to restart and they don't know where to go with the story because they don't know if they want to tie it into the DCU. Like, there's so many things now which they might not know what direction they're allowed to go in. Also, if they're wanting to make a Batman game, that there's a potential that this money has gone towards building out a new game engine for all three of these games. So it's like maybe they just scrap that and start working on Batman again. Who knows?
But very worrying times over there in the DC side of the single
I
player video
I
game experiences.
trust in James Gunn.
All of his years of game development knowledge will save
Hey,
us, yeah.
I trust in his creative direction to focus up those game studios.
J.K. Simmons has confirmed in an interview with Collider that he at least has begun working on season 4 of Invincible, further cementing that they continue to aim to have not long breaks going forward. They want to keep that yearly cadence and not slip, which is it's always nice to
Yeah,
know. I feel like every TV show now, I need reassurances constantly that it's not going to be a 2-year wait until the next season.
yeah. I mean, this seems like they've learned that lesson there.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I understand how much hard work has to go into an
Oh yeah.
animated show of this size. I get that. I just want to know that they're like if it gets delayed by like if it takes 18 months, it takes 18 months. I just like to know that it's being actively worked on and not they're going to wait
Mm-hmm.
for this show to come out, wait 6 months and then
Yeah.
start, and then maybe it'll be another 18 months on top of that.
Yeah.
We got a new Thunderbolts trailer at the Super Bowl,
We
and it's
did.
very different to the original trailer.
Yes, gave us a bit more of insight into the reason this group kind of comes together,
Mm-hmm.
the kind of dynamic that this group starts to have. Has us feeling for these heroes a little bit, even though they might have done some wrong things.
I so we will do a character profile in the coming weeks, I'm sure, on the Sentry.
Uh-huh.
So the Sentry, as far as I know, has an alter ego or an evil side, or however it's portrayed, known as the Void. That seems to be what they're fighting.
I was gonna say, is the shadow shit that was happening also Sentry, or is there two villains gonna be in this?
So that's the Void,
Right.
which is I can't remember if it's part of Sentry or a Sentry villain, or if they're like intertwined to the point that they're always together, but they're
Got you.
not the same entity. It's a little bit confusing. I don't know exactly how that part works. What I will say is the silhouette of Sentry, whether that's being controlled by the Void or whatever, just creating like nuclear shadows of living people on the pavement
Was
is
like
fucking
brutal.
terrifying.
Yeah. That's worse than the snap. Like
Honestly, like seeing people running scared for their life and just being turned into. I've
yeah.
seen like I mean I'm sure we've all seen like history lessons, like the pictures of the actual like nuclear shadows in like
Yeah,
Nagasaki
and
and
like
stuff,
with
and
volcanoes as well. Like,
they're
yeah.
like horrifically scary. And it's like all that. There's something about them that you just look at and you're like, oh, that's really
Mm-hmm.
unsettling. Seeing him turn a person into one,
Yeah,
it's
just vaporize them.
how are these people supposed to fight that?
So we got that. We also got a first look at Avengers Tower being
Yeah, modelled or
reconstructed
whatever.
or remodeled, however you want to do it. There was a court scene
Mm-hmm.
where there was the mention the Avengers are not coming,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is going to be some response to that situation of people being vaporized.
Yeah.
there's a theory going around that the Thunderbolts asterisk, that asterisk is because the Avengers aren't available, or like it's something linked with why it takes it's that's gonna have a tie into why the Avengers are like Thunderbolts Avengers were not available. Um,
I'm incredibly curious about the asterisk still. And as I've said a
yeah,
few times, the only thing I do not want it to be is I don't want it to be used as a joke for like a reveal that they're actually the new Avengers or whatever. If the reveal at the end of the fucking film is that asterisk is just because they don't like the team name Thunderbolts and then they're going to give us a different team name, which is going to be just another Marvel team, that's going to piss me off. Because it's just the most pointless thing ever. If they
I've
want to like, if like the asterisk is like a joke about how Sentry was an original Avenger that got forgotten about,
I
I'm less angry
I
about it.
wonder if it's going to be a case of like obviously the Sokovia Accord, like that legal thing of like supposed not to be registered and all this, and it's like, okay, maybe it's from like a court hearing legal document of like in situations of world going to shit, call the
The
Avengers,
oh, and they use the
and
asterisk
then
for Thunderbolts there.
or Thunderbolts asterisk for when the Avengers are not available. Like, you know,
I'm
when
just
you have on a document, you have the little asterisk, and then at the bottom there's like a little explanation.
yeah,
I
there's
feel like
footnotes and stuff.
it's gonna be something like that.
But just that they've used this asterisk so much in marketing, and I've just got a gut feeling that the way they pay it off, I'm not going to enjoy. And don't get me wrong, I always want to be proven wrong
Yeah,
when I'm being negative about something. But I can't imagine right now a way that they meaningfully pay that off in a way that doesn't make me go, that didn't need to be such like a big fucking secret.
I get what you mean. We'll just have to
But
wait
the
and see.
trailer was awesome.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of people talking like, yeah, it's grey, like a lot of MCU films get critiqued for being, but it's a different kind of grey. It's like a nice grey. And I
it's a
kind of
nice
get
guy.
what they're saying. Because it's like a lot of it's set in like New York City, which is a lot of
Mm,
grey buildings. But like it feels like there's a bit more to it than just very flat MCU filming. And I do get what they mean, but
there's a
going it's
lot.
grey, but it's a nicer grey is very funny to me.
I wonder if there's gonna be because a lot of the marketing is all this like bright yellow.
Hmm.
That's gonna be some.
X-Men reveal, bright yellow X-Men suits. Imagine
That would be a
secret
wild
X-Men
choice.
film.
That the Avengers aren't available, so we're calling the X-Men that. Oh yeah, by the way, they've existed all along. We've just never told you.
Imagine if the first 5 minutes we've just sat here going, "Oh my god, how are they going to fight the Thing? Because he can just turn you into a fucking shadow." What if they all die inside 20 minutes and then it actually becomes the first X-Men film and that's what the asterisk is for? Imagine. I mean, don't get me wrong, they get crucified for killing Florence Pugh,
Yeah,
Sebastian Stan off in the MCU forever, but it'd be kind of cool.
I'll just have to wait and see.
Next up, Joseph Quinn, who is joining the MCU as the one and only Human Torch,
Yes.
has made it clear that he wants his Johnny Storm to interact with Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU. Um, I've made it completely clear that I think this desperately needs to happen if they want the Fantastic Four to feel part of the MCU. The Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four have got a very deep-rooted kind of connection.
Uh huh.
Both being New York-based heroes, both being like two of Marvel's oldest and most successful properties. It will be really weird having the Fantastic Four in the MCU and Spider-Man in the MCU and not seeing them meaningfully interact. That would be
Yeah,
really weird.
I agree. I
And it's
mean,
nice to know the actors are fighting for it.
I think unfortunately we'll still be waiting a while because we know this is a different. Like we've got to wait till these worlds are merged. But I
Absolutely.
think that also then helps them because they can be like, oh yeah, they were both versions were already in this world, and now they already kind of have a bit of a relationship going. So I have to wait
Um,
and see.
Coleman Domingo. has said there
Saw
were
this.
discussions about him replacing Jonathan Majors as Kang in the MCU, but ultimately nothing came of it due to him wanting any role he had within the MCU to be solely his, further stating he didn't want to just be seen as the guy who was recasted.
Hmm.
And since then, he has stated he would be keen to move his role as Norman Osborn in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man from animation to live action. I am once again using this to claim that I think this is going to be the new official MCU canon backstory for Tom Holland's Peter Parker post Secret Invasion.
I mean,
it's just starting to line up a little bit too nicely.
Well, I suppose it can work fine, but presuming we're going to see him turn into Green Goblin in this animated show would mean by the time he's probably into live action, he would probably already be Green Goblin, which
Fine.
works fine. I know. It's just
the entirety of the Green Goblin for like the last 30 years has been Peter knowing that Norman is
Yeah,
the Green Goblin.
true.
So like it's not a huge issue, but I genuinely mark
It'd
it
be
now.
cool
We're
to
not
see
going to
it.
know for what Secret Invasion doesn't come out until 2027. So this will be post Secret Invasion. We'll know. Mark it now. Even if the podcast isn't going in 2028, I am gonna. Even if this has been dead, there's just gonna be an upload of me laughing into the camera, going, "Ha ha! I fucking told you." If I end up being right.
I found the password just to post this.
I spent 6 weeks in a YouTube live chat trying to get them to give out access to the account back to me. Avengers Doomsday is set to begin filming in March over here in our fair land of England. A couple of very big, important people have already been seen arriving in England, including Sebastian Stan.
Oh.
So I'm pretty confident he's going to survive Thunderbolts and that jokey theory isn't going to be right, but don't shoot me if I was right. But yeah, who did I see? I saw that he'd arrived and Chris Hemsworth was in England.
Oh.
Now, it is very possible that Chris
That
Hemsworth and Sebastian Stan just happened to be in England.
Yeah.
But with the film rumoured to start filming in March, it'd be foolhardy of us to not potentially assume they have something to do with that.
I mean, if I'm also Marvel, purely for the sake of just
pay for a holiday for him.
Just fly out like every fucking MCU actor, and like have him here for a couple of weeks, bring him back in 6 months again, and people are just gonna be like so confused of who's in this film.
Imagine if you're someone who's been linked with being a Marvel character before, and it's never happened, you've never even had a meeting about it, and you just happen to visit London right now, and you just see the internet, your name starts trending, and your publicist's like, what the? Why are you trending on Twitter? And you look, and it's just like, oh, so-and-so, who was rumoured to be so-and-so, is in England, and you're like, I live here.
just get all of them. And like, have them go out for dinners together.
I can't remember who it was. I think it was Sabrina Carpenter, who was an actress and a singer for Disney Channel before she focused in on her singing career. She said she'd love to play a character in Marvel, which doesn't surprise me. She seems like the kind of person who'd be down for it. And she said that it's been mentioned before her playing like a variety of different characters. And she's like, and anytime someone mentions it, I get really anxious because even though I've not had the meeting, I've not had the discussions, nothing's ever happened, I instantly feel like I'm saying something I shouldn't. And I'm like, yeah, that must actually be genuinely terrifying.
That's just reminded. There's a clip of Anthony Mackie doing an interview, obviously for Captain America coming up, and I don't know the actor's name that's now playing Falcon, the younger lad, but they're on like got asked a question about like,
oh, I think I saw this clip.
How do you feel? Like, what's it like with these actors? And he's like, oh well, I'm really looking forward to seeing the old MCU meet with the new MCU, and you can see on the young lad's face, he's like wide-eyed looking at him like, are you fucking leaking something right now? And like you can just see that he's gone panic mode, and then he's sort of like, what? She asked me what I want to see, and I'm like, either you've just recovered that very well, or you have slipped up slightly.
This is the beauty of it now. We've had such a long history of stuff slipping and stuff with us thinking something slipped and it's actually a double bait. To the point now where you could legit come out and tell us the entire plot to a film, and we can't trust you because people like Anthony Mackie especially love fucking with us.
Yeah, it's the thing is, it's like the younger lad that's playing Falcon. They're like, he is newer to the MCU. See, we are gonna. It's safe to assume he's not gonna have the same level of access and information that Anthony Mackie is gonna have about the future. And it was like, is this a he knows something and he's like, oh shit, you're leaking? Or is this a he's thinking, wait, I don't know this. You just leaked something? Like,
yeah, that moment of, I don't even know this. What do you mean? I mean, to be fair, Anthony Mackie is like one of the faces of the MCU now. He's Captain fucking America. So if you don't know something and then he's talking about old meeting new and you're aware that like old characters have come in before and stuff, and you're just there like, is there something I don't know that he's now leaking? Because if I don't know it, they definitely shouldn't know it. Type B, absolutely. But again, it's one of them things we won't know for sure whether, like you say, he's just panicked and it was actually a nothing answer, or if he's thought he's giving something away and his face has ended up giving it away. It's fucking comedy. I love it so much. It's why I've loved Harrison Ford in the press roundup so much, because he doesn't give a fuck about leaking, and he wouldn't react if he accidentally did leak something, so it's no way of knowing if he's leaking something. It's brilliant. And the final bit of brilliant news, Andy Serkis, my hero, one of my favourite actors, has said that he's been told the story of the Batman 2 by Matt Reeves, and he is as hungry as you all are for it.
Yeah, he let us know that he's going to be playing Gollum in the Batman 2.
Obviously I don't know. As an outsider looking in, I view Andy Serkis as someone who's like an absolute artist in the field. Brilliant writer, brilliant director, brilliant actor. He is one with the art. I feel like if you'd written a script or had a story and you told it to Andy Serkis and his response was that positive, that it would be such a euphoric feeling.
Oh yeah, and knowing that he's playing Alfred, like, if he's that excited for this story, you're like, oh, we're gonna get some good kind of chemistry here in the next one between them two.
It's very exciting times indeed.